Okay. If you have any questions, like I said, throughout the class, you're welcome to put some things in the chat window, and I have two lovely helpers today. So let's have some fun. It's a great class. Here are the objectives. So for Excel Intermediate Part 1, I'm going to go over creating custom lists. So if you've used autofill before, and autofill will automatically fill patterns like days of the week, months of the year, but you can create your own. And people sometimes will ask me that, can I make my own list? Maybe you're making a list of, people's names that you work with. They're in your department. Maybe you are making a list of products or locations, and you find you're always typing them in the same, over and over, or you're finding them on another file and copying and pasting them over. So you can create your own custom list to use as an autofill and put it in Excel and be able to use it anytime. We'll also take a look at absolute cell references. That's a way to, let's say you want to multiply all, like 100 numbers, all by 5%. The 5% would be considered an absolute. So there's a way to make it an absolute. Arranging multiple files, I'll go ahead and highlight them as I go along here. This is a nice feature. Some of you might be very fortunate to have 2 monitors, and some of you even have 3 monitors. I'm very jealous. I only have the 1. So sometimes I might have an Excel, like 2 Excel spreadsheets that I need to go back and forth between, and I just get tired of toggling. So you can put files side by side on your screen. You can put them horizontally or vertically, whichever you choose. And however many files you have open is how many files will pop up on the screen. So there's a couple different ways, but I'm going to show you one option you can do in Excel. All right, freeze panes. Some of you may have used freeze panes before. It is a way to keep your headings on the screen as you scroll up and down, or if you go right and left. So again, some of you may have used it before, and I typically show one thing that a lot of times people have struggled with. So I'm going to show you how to freeze rows. I'm going to show you how to freeze columns. But then the thing that people struggle with is, how do I freeze both rows and columns? So I'll go over that. We will talk about comments. I really like comments. If you have a newer version, they might call them something else like notes, but they're a nice way to put a comment attached to a cell. So it's sort of like a sticky note that you've put on a cell, and you can just put verbiage, just anything you want to put in there so you don't forget about it. And then finally, in the first class, primarily I talked about, or whoever you had, we talk about basic printing options. But here I'd like to go a little bit further, where we can talk about print titles. If you need the titles to appear on every page, if you print them. Page break preview is fantastic, so you can tell it where to break before you print it, if it's not breaking in the right spot. Along with some other things like headers and footers, how to print just a selection of your choice if you don't want to print the whole spreadsheet. So that's what we plan to cover in the hour. If any of you have taken these classes, you probably know they go by real fast with 1 hour. This is a demo, so there is no need to try. I thought I had another slide for that, but I don't. There's no need for you to try to follow along in your own Excel because I don't want you to miss anything. Again, if you do have questions, you can always put them in the chat window. So let's dive in. Let's have some fun. All right, custom lists. So let me bring up Excel, and I'm going to go ahead and just zoom this screen a little bit bigger so we can see it. So the concept here is, let's say that I typed in January, all right, or Jan, or Monday, or Mon, or I did today's date, whatever. If I click on any one of them and I go to the bottom right corner, I get the little thin plus sign. And when I click and hold and drag, whichever way I want to go down this time, and I go down and let go, it automatically fills a pattern, okay? And the rest of them would work the same way. I'm going to do all 4 at one time, just makes it easier there. And so you can see, and let me widen them, you can see they fill a pattern, all right? But these are the ones that are already in Excel. You didn't put them in there, they were already there, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything and clear it out. So what if you were doing spreadsheets and you were constantly putting in the same list of some kind. Again, maybe it is names of people in your department. Maybe it is locations. Maybe it's product names or numbers. Maybe it's classes. Whatever it is, some kind of list. You'll have to think on that for yourself. So let's take a look if you wanted to put your own list in there. And I always like to, since most of us, I assume, are working from home, we're going to pretend we can have a home office anywhere in the world. All right, anywhere in the world. So I'm going to just make a list of all the home offices, and we need that list, and we're using that constantly. So we're going to have a home office in Portugal. We're going to have one in Australia, maybe California, Hawaii, Ireland, and we'll pick one more. Let's do Bora Bora. Why not? I'm not sure we'll get a lot of work done, but what the heck. So let's say this is a list you use all the time, the home offices, and you've got to track things, maybe. So in order to put this list into Excel, you have to go through a few steps. I'll put this over here for a second, and this is called custom lists. All right, so the first step is you have to find the list, create the list, whatever you need to do, but you need to highlight the list first. That's the very first thing you have to do, is highlight the list. All right, so I will go ahead and highlight it. I'll put the steps in here, and then we'll go through the whole thing. Step 2, I'm going to be going to File, and then I'm going to be going Options from there. Then I'm going to be choosing, and this all makes sense once we go through it, Advanced, and that will be on the left-hand side. And then I always tell people to scroll all the way to the bottom of that screen, and then you're going to see a button that says Edit Custom Lists, and then we're going to click a button that says Import. And again, it will all make sense once we go through it. And I'll move this list back over here. All right, so first step is to highlight the list. Second step, I'm going to go to File, Options. So I go to File, and then I go to Options. Once I get to Options, I said we need to go to Advanced, which is on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go to Advanced. Step 4, I'm going to scroll to the bottom. And then there's Edit Custom Lists right here. And then I'm going to explain a few things before I hit Import. All right, so here is the dialog box that pops up. Because I highlighted the list ahead of time, if you look at the very bottom of this box, it says Import List from Cells, and it says C3 through C8. Okay, C3 through C8, so it has it in there. So simply all I have to do is click this Import button. Okay, so once I click it, the list has been imported into Excel, and now it will become an autofill list. So I will click OK. I will click OK. All right, and let's say that I'm on a completely different sheet. All right, a different file, whatever. And I do not have to start with the same one. I don't have to start with Portugal. I'm going to go ahead and start with Bora Bora this time. And I'm going to go ahead and drag it down. And luckily it shows it to me, so I know if I've gone too far. And there's my list. All right, if I go ahead and do a new file, brand spanking new one, and this time I want to do them across, I'm going to start with California this time, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it across. All right, there we go, and I've got it. So that list will be in there from this point forward, and it just makes it so much faster if I have a list to reuse over and over again.